Russia needs to additionally deploy at least 50,000 troops to achieve minimal objectives in the Zaporizhzhia direction. Valerii Riabykh, military expert and Defense Express Development Director, said this on Espreso TV. If the enemy had sufficient forces and means, they would develop parallel offensives in several directions. One of the most costly for the enemy could be the Kherson direction, where, according to expert assessments, for the enemy to have any success, they need to concentrate a grouping of around 120,000 to 150,000 and have capabilities for forcing such an important water obstacle that is difficult to overcome, like the Dnipro River, he said. Riabykh emphasized that the Russian forces chose a less costly direction, Zaporizhzhia, where the terrain allows implementing the tactics that were tested specifically in the Donetsk direction, particularly in the Pokrovsk area, and what the commander-in-chief called the 1,000 cuts tactic, that is, when attacks are carried out on a wide front by small infantry groups resorting to deep infiltration. The expert added, he believes Russia is counting on the possibility that the forces and means they can concentrate will be sufficient. We're currently talking about several tens of thousands of additional troops. However, in principle, to have a certain success and to achieve some minimal objectives, the enemy needs to additionally deploy at least 50,000 troops to this direction. Whether they will succeed in this, or whether active actions by the defense forces to cut the enemy's logistics to supply these troops will prevent them, this is also a question of time and the capabilities of our defense forces, Riabykh stated. The expert added that this direction doesn't look like a no-brainer for the enemy, because the logistics in this direction can be confidently cut by our defense forces if there are sufficient long-range, high-precision means to keep logistical supply routes under control. Currently, the enemy has one plan. Our troops may have a different plan. Therefore, in principle, the real development of events in this direction can be observed from when the enemy begins to implement this plan, he concluded.
Ukrainian troops have destroyed a railway connection in the Russian-occupied part of southeastern Zaporizhzhia region, Pyotr Andriushenko, former advisor to the mayor of Mariupol, revealed on Tuesday. The destruction of a cargo train carrying fuel left the railway tracks in ruins in the area between Erzhiyini and Tokmak. Ukrainian telegram channels reported that the 65th Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces destroyed a freight train in the settlement of Molochansk near Tokmak city in Zaporizhzhia region. The telegram channels shared footage of the burning train allegedly carrying fuel tank cars. For those asking why the Russians transport fuel at night by train and truck, this is exactly why. To avoid such losses, Andriushenko noted. The attack dealt a significant blow to Russia's logistics and confirmed the effectiveness of Ukrainian troops in targeting key transport routes. Ukraine has scaled up attacks on Russia's strategic facilities in occupied Ukrainian territories and in Russia. Ukrainian defense forces have cleared 6 settlements near Dobropilya in Donetsk region. The town of Pokrovsk has also been cleared of occupants. This is reported by the AFU General Staff. From August 4th to 16th, as a result of joint actions of units and subdivisions of the National Guard and the AFU, which are part of the 1st Corps of the NSU, Azov, the settlements in Donetsk region were cleared: Gruzkoy, Rubizn, Novovodyan, Petrovka, Veseloy, and Zolotoy Kolodets. The General Staff noted that stabilization operations in the direction of Dobropilya continue. Divisions of the 19th Army Corps operating in Donetsk region have captured 6 Russian servicemen just in the past 24 hours. Also this week, the 7th Corps of Airborne Assault Troops and related units have cleared the town of Pokrovsk of enemy groups and single occupants. The General Staff said Russian forces suffered significant losses: 910 killed, 335 wounded, 37 captured. Additionally, Ukrainian forces destroyed or damaged 8 tanks, 6 armored vehicles, 103 vehicles and motorcycles, 1 MLRS, 18 guns, and 91 UAVs. The Pokrovsk direction remains one of the hottest on the front, since a significant group of the Russian army is concentrated there against the Ukrainian troops. The further defense of the city directly depends on military expediency and the preservation of personnel, emphasized the head of the Ukrainian Center for Security and Cooperation, Sergei Kazan. According to him, the key factor is the ratio of losses. If defensive positions, particularly in the Pokrovsk area, allow the enemy to suffer losses several times greater than those suffered by Ukraine, they should be held. However, when a line loses its strategic value, there is no point in holding it only for symbolic reasons. Meanwhile, Ukrainian forces advanced up to 1,000 meters in Sumy region's Yablonivka area. However, the Dnipro Operational Strategic Group reports that the Russian army continues its attempts to advance in the Donetsk region, with tense situations unfolding simultaneously in 2 sectors. Attacks are also reported in Yudakny, Novopavlivka, Filia, and Horokov, aimed at reaching the administrative border of the Donetsk region. Ukrainian defense forces are holding back the onslaught, inflicting significant losses on enemy troops, the Dnipro group said. The operation was carried out by the HUR in coordination with units of the State Border Service and other components of Ukraine's defense forces. The source said the strike disrupted rail traffic, halting the transport of personnel and supplies through the station. As a result, the supply of ammunition and personnel to the occupation army was disrupted, the source added.